Alright, I'm going to do a review on the Fasterprom ice tank. It's a new thing that Fasterprom makes. So I give it, as far as an A to F rating, I give it a C minus D plus. And I'll explain to you why I give it that rating. So I bought it. In my previous video, I explained, how I got the car, where I purchased it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And you get a little background of the car, and moving forward you'll have a better idea of it. But so when I purchased this, it came with this ice box. Actually, in the process of replacing it, I actually bought a D3 engineering, now called Pro Speed Motorsports. They had to change the name due to licensing reasons, so I'll just say Pro Speed now from moving forward. But the Pro Speed one moves your ice tank to the rear. I might do a video if you guys are interested in possibly the install, maybe like, something just to show how it's done and maybe speed it up, etc. and all that. If it's something you're interested in, like this video or comment below. So basically what this does is the blower is, water, well, it's not water cooled, but it's cooled by basically water. And that keeps your blower under a certain degree. Really, the rule of thumb is I don't think you ever want it going over 140 degrees under any circumstance. And with a pulley and mods, it's super easy to do. When I first purchased the car, it had 100% water in it, which, would keep it cooler than a 50-50 mix or something else. So at the top of fourth gear, it was hitting 150, 160 with this piece. And this is aftermarket, so this is supposed to be better than factory. So it's a 1.5 gallon. It's something I'm ditching, obviously, as I said. So I'm going to move to a 7 gallon in the rear, which helps out significantly. So that's the reason I give it a D plus, C minus. Basically, it's better than stock. And if you don't want to have things mounted in your trunk or run lines all the way back, or for whatever reason, this is a lot easier to install and it looks cleaner for sure. But at the end of the day, it still sits right above your passenger headers. How much is it really going to do with a gallon and a half in there? So, so that's why I'm not really a big fan of it. Another thing is, which I'm not even going to unscrew because I don't feel like fooling around with it, this cap here, if you unscrew it, for whatever reason, it doesn't like seating half the time. So if it doesn't seat right, then when you drive and turn, coolant gets all down here, runs all down there. It goes everywhere. It just makes a huge mess. I don't know, if you go, there's been other people that had this issue too. They say it's the cap or just needs a little bit of grease. I put a little bit of grease on it and it seemed to help a little, but it's still 50-50 on when it works, when it doesn't. I don't know. So that's another really annoying thing with the system. I don't know if they really came up with a solution yet. It's been about a year, but some people have returned it, some people whatever. This one, however, does seal if you play enough with it, and that's why I'm not undoing it. But otherwise, I'll show you what it looks like inside. But really, if you just unscrew it, it's just water sitting in there, and that's really it. So, and then, obviously, when you start the car, you see the pump kick it up, goes through here, and then out the blower down here. So you do see that whole thing happen if you do start, which is pretty neat. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And I actually have a Magnuson heat exchanger down there too, which is I've heard, I think they're okay. It's not as good as the D3 Pro Speed heat exchanger, but it's also not as nearly bad as stock. So I don't have the specs on it, fortunately, but something I'm probably going to keep in there when I do the rear one. I've heard the Edelbrock one for the price and whatever is better than the Magnuson, but I'm going to give it a whirl and see what happens. If we have issues, I just got to replace it, which sucks. So that is my review on the Fasterproms ice tank for the ZR1.